My name is Thabo Wolfaardt, and the title of my film is Joburg, which is a nickname for the city of Johannesburg in South Africa. It's a developing world urban drama with two story structures happening at the same time. I'm very interested about very disparate characters, people from very different backgrounds finding a way of connection. It's very easy to put your blinders on and kind of go through life and not see the other person's side, or stop and have empathy for what they're going through. I shot a documentary short over a summer in Johannesburg and in the township of Soweto about the AIDS crisis. There was a very pivotal moment where we went to a young woman's funeral in the township. She just died of AIDS, and we were standing at her gravesite, and her brother came to talk to me on camera, and he told me that he used to be a carjacker. That was the catalyst. I actually first wrote a feature script that had 4 storylines, so I took 2 of the characters and rewrote a completely new short. I started working with a writing partner in South Africa who is Sotho, because I didn't feel I could bring justice to the Sotho Zulu brothers. My collaboration with my writing partner was fantastic. I actually met him. I was helping NYU do a study program in South Africa, and he was a student at one of the universities there, a theater student. So we'd always kept in contact, and I learned that he was a writer and a producer and an actor. So once I wrote the script, I sent it to him, and he ended up co-producing the film. Obviously, shooting in South Africa brings a whole world of issues and problems that you wouldn't normally face here. I had to have a lot of security guards in some of my locations. You had to have some bribing money. We shot in a very worn-down building that was really run by the residents of the building. And one day, the one woman actually blocked the door physically until we paid her money. When I was prepping to shoot in South Africa, I realized just the budget for plane tickets was very limited. It's $2,000 a person. So I actually only took one crew member from UCLA, Quyen Tran, who was my cinematographer, and I can't imagine ever shooting something without her. She came in, as well as my producer, who went to USC, and we then teamed up with my writing partner and producer in Johannesburg, and we brought on some film students from Johannesburg. And we also trained a few underprivileged people who hadn't had opportunities in film, especially shooting on film. And Quyen and the camera team were willing to work with them and train them. So we got a lot of very enthusiastic, great people to help out. But it was a 2-month process to find all those people. I found that shooting documentaries have really been the source of inspiration for me as far as developing characters and stories. There's a carjacking scene in the film that became this big pivotal moment, but I didn't want it to be the typical aggressive situation. Instead, I had a protagonist that held her ground and refused to get out and offered to have the guy drive her back to her house. The night that we were shooting this scene, we were going through the blocking and the lighting with the actors, and my first AD, who pulled me aside and told me I was doing everything wrong. And I was pretty flustered, and I told him, no, this is the way it's got to be, and he ended up telling me that he was a carjacker, or used to be. And that's not how I'd carjack a car. So I stopped everything, and we basically changed the scene quite a bit last minute. It was great. It's everyone's dream to be a part of Sundance in some way, shape, or form. The way I found out was I got an email asking me about flights and hotels and stuff, and they'd forgotten to actually tell me. So I emailed them back and said I wasn't sure what you're talking about, but, sure, I'll come. The first time I actually watched the finished product of my film was at Spotlight. I literally picked up the tape hours before the screening, and that was the first time I really saw it something you kind of dream of when you first come to school here and you see thesis films up on the screen and you're not quite sure how you'll ever do it. It was really cool to see that come full circle. My 4 years at UCLA definitely shaped me as a storyteller and a filmmaker. From day one, all my professors, all the faculty here really instilled in us the idea that they were trying to help us to develop into the best storytellers that we could be. And everything is structured around that idea. You see it in the filmmakers that come out of here. They have very strong points of view. There were so many amazing faculty here that I sometimes wish I could just come back and take a few more classes.